bringing you with a brand new video, and today we're going to be discussing the official EX raid leak that has come out for Pokemon Go. It's official. Mewtwo is going to be rotating out of the EX raid slot, and the Deoxys will be in place of that. And there's actually quite a few things that we need to note before we even understand what the possibilities for Deoxys can be in the competitive scene, which actually which very surprisingly enough is not very much. There isn't that much you can really do with this Pokemon. It's okay in the terms of what it can do, and that's about all that I can say about it. It might not even be that very good as a tier 1 psychic type. It's not even close to like Espeon Mewtwo or anything like that. But before we shun this thing and put this guy in the garbage can, let's just see where it goes. It has literally, if they do the move sets like they're supposed to, it should have Zen Headbutt and Counter for fast moves, and Swift, Zap Cannon, and Psycho Boost for charge moves. Psycho Boost is its legacy, or its best move. For context, it's a signature move, and hopefully Niantic does the proper way of buffing this thing, this particular move, so that way it doesn't seem like it's completely garbage. Hopefully it's a tier 2 psychic type at the very worst. But having Zen Headbutt or Counter for possible moves is not very good for this Pokemon, especially since Zen Headbutt is not the best psychic type move in the game as far as fast moves are concerned, but it is going to be a decent way to counter some of these defensive defensive fighting types, and some of these awkward other normal types that are just really weak to psychic types overall. Your best counters are probably going to be Gengar with psychic moves, or Sucker Punch Gengar, or Hex Shadow Ball, or something of that nature. Mewtwo is going to be very optimal because it has Confusion Shadow Ball. Espeon is a decent counter. They actually mentioned Espeon, Metagross, and other counters in this, but we're going to go over the possible stats for this Pokemon. Now, the thing about Deoxys is that it has this 100 stamina for all of them, and I kind of find this a little weird, simply because Deoxys speed, it would make sense for it to have a little bit more stamina than the other counterparts. I would expect defense to have lower stamina, and normal and attack to kind of just be in the 100 range, and that would just be fairly balanced. It wouldn't make the speed one overpowered at all. It has slightly more attack than defense than this defense, and it's just overall roundabout way of doing it. Like, they did perfectly well with the defense, the Deoxys defense having abysmal attack, and Deoxys attack having really bad defense. But they really should have made Deoxys speed have a lot more speed than it actually does. Probably like the same way that normal Deoxys has 345 attack. It should have 345 speed, or stamina, I mean. But overall, it's not like the stats are completely abysmal. Deoxys, although Deoxys defense is going to be pretty useless, because you can't currently at this point in time put legendaries in gyms, and that's mainly why the Regis are not very good Pokemon as far as that goes. I mean, Regirock is kind of okay, but for the most part, like Registeel and Regice, and I'm also going to speculate that Regigigas isn't going to be very good either, because of the fact that they're really defensive Pokemon, and same goes with Deoxys defense. It's not going to be very good. It's going to be very, very difficult to gauge this Pokemon in any competitive sense in the meta. Normal and attack do have some decent applications. Since Deoxys attack's stat is really, really high, you might get it recommended every once in a while, but Zen Headbutt is going to be really, really crushing for a Pokemon like that. I honestly think that the normal one here is the better of the two, or of the four forms, mainly because it's more round, it's generally evenly statted, and it's not terrible when it comes to its other stats. And realistically, when you're looking at a legendary like this, the defense stat, it might as well not even be there, because it doesn't really contribute anything because you're not going to be placing them in gyms because you can't. I just simply hope that they make Psycho Boost just a bit better for Deoxys attack and normal, so that way they're both a bit more competitively viable. But overall, I think the way that they distributed the stamina for speed is, I think, incorrect. They should definitely change it to where it has more speed or more stamina than its counterparts. I can understand, like, and I think defense should have technically lower stamina because of that, of it being a defensive type rather than being, attacker. So overall, just in summary, defense you're never going to use ever, but you're going to want it because if you want to complete the forms, then you're going to have to keep at least one of these things. Normal and attack are going to be very decent. They're not going to be tier 1 or anything, but they're going to be very least tier 2, especially if Psycho Boost gets a buff. And Deoxys speed is going to be, I think, a little slightly less good than that, but still decent overall. Not terrible, but not great either. The possible counters for this one, it shouldn't be a difficult raid to complete with just a few people. Obviously, you got your boy Mewtwo, the best psychic type ever, currently in the game. And Deoxys is not going to overthrow that by any stretch of the imagination. Mewtwo is just super strong. It's 300 attack, and its overall stamina is what really makes this Pokemon stand alone. It's so super good to have one of these, even if you don't have Shadow Ball, which is probably going to be one of the best counter moves for Deoxys. This Pokemon should be fairly decent against it anyway. Like, if it gets Psy Striken when we get the raid for it, then it'll be definitely better than Shadow Ball in a lot of ways, but I think this is fine. Espeon, really interesting to see Espeon here, though it does make sense. It is a little bit faster than, has a little bit more stamina than the other Deoxyses, and other than speed, it really outspeeds the other two. Same thing with Alakazam. You're sacrificing a bit of a stamina for attack, which is, I guess, a fair trade-off in certain situations. Gardevoir, that makes sense. Fairy type moves are going to be utterly useless though. So just have Shadow Ball, because Gardevoir can learn Shadow Ball. Metagross, it remains to be seen whether or not Meteor Burst or Meteor Punch or whatever that move is called. It's down here. Whether that will make a difference in the moveset for Metagross. I assume that it will, it might be a decent charged move, but Bullet Punch Psychic or anything like that is going to be very good for this one. So I think these are very good choice for counters, but there probably are better ones. Gengar is going to be one of your more optimal counters. In the future, probably Darkrai will probably be a decent counter. We don't have Chandelure because that's not until Generation 5, because if we did, that would be a decent one. We had Dusknoir, but that's really defensive. I guess if you're fighting against the attack one, then that one will be pretty good because it's just naturally bulky. But overall, decent. Overall, just what we currently have to work with. Future possibilities would be that one and Darkrai. So we're going to move on. This is just the same information. Nothing is too special about these stats other than defense has 330 defense, which doesn't matter because you're not going to be able to put it into a gym. And Deoxys attack is pretty good in the attack form, but this defense is really garbage. So they're kind of really hard hitting on the balance on this Pokemon very, very, very much. So, but these two should be decent, and attack should be somewhat decent as far as attack goes. So that is all. Also, it's possible. It's still considered a rumors. I'm going to still consider it a rumor until we actually have an announcement from Pokemon Go, but it was placed through some digging through Sylph Road that Beldum is going to be the next Community Day, which should be October 21st, which is good. And it will probably have Meteor Mash. That's the move that I was trying to think of earlier. As a special signature move, and that makes absolutely perfect sense because in the original Pokemon games, its best move is Meteor Mash. So I expect Meteor Mash to be a really good move set, or a really good move for Metagross in the future. Also, we're going to get a few shiny Metagross, which I'm actually looking forward to because it's one of my favorite shinies in general. It looks really cool. And Beldum's one of Beldum and the Beldum line is one of my favorite Pokemon lines in the entire series. So I am definitely looking forward to this. I will probably be recording a lot of it. So do keep that in mind. This is still just rumors. We don't actually know if they're going to do it. They could swap it out and replace it for something. I really hope they don't, because I want the shiny Beldum, and that would be really cool. But you know, it's good that we're getting a different one. Also, it's confirmed that Shiny Cyndaquil is going to be in November, which we already kind of knew. It's going to be November 10th. Not exactly a month away, but it's actually like 2 weeks away, which is kind of interesting the way that they rounded that up. And it's going to have Blaze Burn, which won't raise the competitive viability of Typhlosion. It makes it slightly better, but not that much better than it actually is. So yeah, but Beldum Meteor Mash should raise it up at least another tier or two, and if not, it'll keep it the same. It'll still be just a generically good Pokemon that you can just stuff into gyms. So that's all I got to say about that. If you guys did enjoy, please leave a comment in the comment section down below. I will see you guys in the next video. This has been DSG signing out.